Hi, I'm Mariana, and with the help of Brandon, Peyton, and Abby, we have created our IMC summary presentation. So the company that we're working with is Colgate, and the product that we're working with is Colgate's Max Fresh Whitening Toothpaste. And we decided to do our following presentation through a macro lens. So the following presentation will be broken up into segments. We'll start off with the company overview, then we'll take you into an analysis of our current situation at Colgate. Then we'll look at Colgate's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Then we will look at Colgate's IMC objectives that are current, as well as the IMC objectives that we would like to maintain. Then we will look at market strategy, market research, and finally, references. So why Colgate? Colgate was started in the early 1800s by none other than William Colgate, and he was just a small New York City candle maker. He decided to start the company out, and when he did, he started it as a candle, starch, and soap company. When he started out, he wasn't really well known for a while, but soon after a little bit of time, he started to gain business, and the name became popular. And so after he died, his grandson decided to add toothpaste and oral hygiene to Colgate's current corporation. Once they added them, Colgate became even more well known, and their highest competitor was Procter & Gamble. But after World War II, Procter & Gamble added the addition of Tide to their soap realm, and soon Colgate was losing a lot of customers and became number 2 in the soap industry. So then, while they were leading the toothpaste industry, Procter & Gamble decided to create a toothpaste, but they added the addition of fluoride. Colgate didn't have the addition of fluoride yet, and so then they began to become number 2 in oral hygiene and healthcare as well. Because of this, Colgate lost a lot of customers, and it took a while for them to get back. But with the help of their CEO in the 1960s, George Leach, they started manufacturing and advertising a lot more. And soon Colgate began to take their place back at the top of the oral health care industry. Right now at Colgate, we're facing another challenge. Colgate is trying to stay at the top, and their new goal is sustainability. And so in January 2020, Colgate launched the very first vegan toothpaste with an all recyclable toothpaste tube. Recycling a toothpaste tube used to be basically impossible because of all of the aluminum that was in the tube as well as the plastic. But because Colgate invested a lot of R&D into this process, they are now the only toothpaste company that has a recyclable tube that's 100% recyclable, and now they're starting their entire process in hopes that in 2025 they will only have all of their products will be 100% recyclable.
When observing Colgate Palmolive from a company overview standpoint, they're a very interesting company. Founded in 1873, they originally sold oral hygiene products. Today, in 2020, they operate in 2 major segments: oral, personal, and home care, and pet nutrition. At their origin, Colgate cares about their people. They're driven by sustainability, as they've shown since 2002. They've had a water stewardship program that has reduced their global water usage by 46% in the following 18 years. In 2019, they're awarded an EPA Energy Star Partner of the Year award for the 9th year in a row. And when they observe sustainability, they see it as a triple bottom line approach: performance, people, and planet. When they care about their people, they've reached over 1.2 billion children in over 80 countries through oral health education programs that they began in 1991. When you look at it from a performance standpoint, they've improved their sustainability in 99% of their products through collaboration, and recyclable toothpaste tubes is the forefront of it. The recyclable toothpaste tube is almost ready to launch and will help them reach their goal of becoming 100% recyclable packaging by 2025. Colgate is a worldwide brand. When observing their geographical reach, they're purchased by over 1/2 of world's households. And Indian shoppers contributed immensely to this, as their brand entered 86% of Indian households in 2014. When observing Colgate's situation analysis, they have multiple capabilities as stated earlier. They work in 2 different fields: oral, home, and personal care and pet nutrition. Colgate actually owns more than just one toothpaste brand too, as they own Tom's of Maine, Sorriso, Meridol, and Elmex, as those are all subsidiaries of the Colgate-Palmolive brand. When observing their consumer target market, they operate on a wide scale. My research showed that the consumer that buys their product the most can be anyone from under the age of 24 all the way up to 54 years old, which is a very broad market, but toothpaste is a broad product used by all. Their average consumer makes less than $20,000 a year and typically buys the product at a drugstore. Some risks that the company has that I observed is that since they operate on such a global and large scale and serve more than 200 countries, and with approximately 80% of their sales coming from markets outside of the United States, international operations are their biggest risks. This entails foreign currency fluctuations, which may reduce the value of the US dollar and revenues, profits, and cash flows to the US markets, political or economic insustainability, and lack of well-established and partial legal systems in other countries. Another big product of risks that they might have would be something such as the coronavirus or a geopolitical hazard that affects all businesses across the globe. Their competitive situation: Colgate is performing very well in toothpaste markets, as they have the number one market share in toothpaste worldwide, which is 45% of the market share. And the Dow Jones Sustainability Indexes rated Colgate the number one company in household products in 2019. A lot of their growth came from a new breakthrough technology in their product Colgate Total, as Total uses a new technology that allows the toothpaste to act as a proactive barrier that helps fight bacteria on teeth, tongues, cheeks, and gums. Their main competitors that I observed are Unilever, Sensodyne, which is also under SKG, and P&G. Unilever has 3.6% of the market share in toothpaste. Sensodyne was the number one seller in toothpaste in 2019, but they only own 9.7% of the market share. And P&G, which owns Crest, has 20% of the market share.
Just like every other company, Colgate has its own internal strengths and weaknesses as well as its own external opportunities and threats. Let's start off by looking at Colgate's strengths. One of their biggest strengths is their brand name. Colgate is currently operating in the United States as well as 200 other countries. The last time that you were in Walmart and you were buying toothpaste, you didn't have to ask yourself, what's Colgate? You just knew Colgate was a good brand for toothpaste. Brand recognition is a huge thing that's been really important for Colgate throughout the years. It's been really important because there's a lot of similar wants and needs in the oral care industry, and they've been able to differentiate themselves from their competitors. Customer satisfaction has also been really high for them and is really helping with their word of mouth and their marketing strategy. Overall, Colgate has worked really hard to get their brand name out there into the market and has done a really good job with that. With having a good brand name, they also have a really high market percentage of the market share in the oral care industry specifically. With the high market share, they're able to deliver high quality products and build their product lines effectively. Colgate also has very good financial stability. With their financial stability, they're able to explore those cash flows when they do want to do product differentiation and expansion, and that has been something that's been able to help them throughout the years. Another strength for them is that they have a really good and reliable supply chain and distribution center. Their supply chain and distribution centers have been able to meet the demands of their consumers consistently for several years. One of their biggest strengths is their product safety. They are the only toothpaste company that does not have triclosan, which is a bacteria in toothpaste that causes a buildup on toothbrushes in their toothpaste. That's been really positive for them, as well as being allergen free and teen safe. Now let's look at some of the weaknesses that Colgate is experiencing. One of them is their little advancement in technology, which is causing, and where they aren't investing in technology, which is eventually going to catch up with them, especially with the way technology is heading in our society. The biggest weakness for them is the saturated market that they are competing in. A saturated market is generally when there is no new demand or room for expansion because there's so many companies competing. This has been really big for Colgate, and they've experienced a lot of market share fights with their competitors. Another weakness is their high cost of operations. They do everything on a rental basis, which is causing them a lot of high operating costs, decreasing their profits, and causing them to put their product prices at higher than their competitors. Another weakness is their limited products in their non-core market categories. These are like the cleaning supplies and pet supplies. When they are with these limited product lines, they are experiencing a lot of vulnerability when it comes to price competition. Let's look at some of the opportunities for Colgate in the future. When I think of an opportunity, I think of expanding outside of the flavor mint. Mint is a very popular flavor for fresh breath, but what about those little kids that don't like mint? What about expanding into bubblegum or some fruity flavors for those who don't like mint, can't have mint, or the children who just probably shouldn't? Overseas and global market is something that could also be more of an opportunity. They already are a global brand, but if they can operate more in the unsaturated rural markets and really take advantage of mergers and acquisitions, they will be very beneficial. The last opportunity that I decided to talk about was being able to expand into the pet nutrition market. This is a market where people have very high incomes and have cash flows where they can spend for these high demand products, and there's not a whole lot of competition in the market either. Lastly, let's take a look at some of the threats. Every company has competition, but this is something that Colgate really experiences as a negative for them. With their competition, they have had to take a lot of lower margins and put a lot of discounts on their products in order to stay competitive with their competition. Another threat is that Colgate generally operates with a lot of expensive, high-cost raw materials, which makes them run into the problem of price control, a decrease in sales, and where consumers are wanting to do a lot of brand switching. And that leads me to our next point about brand switching. Brand switching is really easy, and a lot of it comes down to the consumer. In the oral care industry, there's a lot to choose from, and so consumers are switching from Colgate to other products very easily, and that's become a very big threat for them. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the threat of ethics. In the past, Colgate has done animal testing using their products on animals and has gotten a lot of negative social media and word of mouth marketing from the society, and so that has hurt them and might continue to.
Last year, Colgate's total annual revenue almost added up to $16 billion, which gives us a really abnormally large platform to look at. Right now, we already have some IMC objectives that Colgate has met, and we just want to maintain them for now. That was to enhance firm or brand image. We've done this by becoming a brand that is globally known, increase sales. Sales have been increasing by approximately 5% every single year. Build customer traffic. Colgate builds customer traffic by having a really easy to use website and having a social media platform on every single site. And then increase market share. And we do this by making sure that our stock continues to stay up. So our current IMC objectives are increasing demand. Colgate has been doing this for years, but the reason why we want to increase it right now is because we have a very new fun opportunity for Colgate. Colgate has always been its own brand, but now we're becoming the new leaders in not only oral health care, but in an environmentally friendly version of it. So we already have brand customers that are super loyal. And we launched our first toothpaste with a recyclable tube in 2020, but not many people are know a lot about that since the toothpaste is vegan. So with the new packaging for all our existing products by 2025, we want to make sure that everybody is aware that Colgate is now taking the step to be extremely sustainable and really environmentally cautious. Our brand awareness. Because we're globally known already, we kind of have a head start. But Colgate is just the #1 toothpaste in US, the greater Asia, as well as Latin America. We still want to increase and get our product across the globe as much as possible. And so we're hoping with our new sustainability process that we can then show that we care about the environment and reach a couple of other countries that we wouldn't have been able to reach with just our brand of toothpaste. We want to continue our expansion overseas as much as possible. Our customer beliefs or attitudes. Because vegans and environmentalists are very cautious on what they put in their body and what products that they use, we want to make sure that we are an environmentally friendly brand for them and for them to be able to recognize us as that. We now have a new vegan certified toothpaste, and we want to rebrand as much as possible in order to get the message out that this is the new face of Colgate.
Okay, so for my part of the presentation, I'm talking about the market strategy and the market research for Colgate. For their market strategy, Colgate really likes to focus on using their social media and their philanthropy for their success and to connect with their consumers. In the past couple of years, some trends have come around of using fluoride-free and more natural sources or alternatives of toothpaste. So companies such as Hello Oral Care, Dr. Bronner's All One, Tom's, Kopara, and even Burt's Bees are all companies that have been steering towards a more natural toothpaste that a lot of consumers are interested in, especially my generation and then the generation above me. But with Colgate, they like to try out new trends, but they also stand by their products. So they're always going to have their normal whitening products and sensitivity products, but they are coming out with a charcoal toothpaste that is following the trends of others, and also fluoride-free toothpaste, just supplying the demand for what consumers are wanting, basically. Also, by doing this, they're marketing towards a new market that's attracting new consumers to their base without losing their old ones. Also, for a market strategy, they do focus on engaging in current events such as coronavirus. So recently, Colgate has developed this new soap that includes directions for proper hand washing in it. And they're using this with the World Health Organizations, and they're hiring ambassadors to help spread this message and to promote the hashtag Safe Hands message. They're also using this in their social media and all their platforms, and they're using one of their ambassadors, Michael Phelps, to help this strategy spread. Another thing they do for philanthropy, they have a program called Bright Smiles, Bright Futures. This program is a global effect to bring education and free dental screenings to families and children across the world. Again, social media plays a huge part in their market research as their market strategy, because it's just imperative that they want to connect with younger generations, since that's how we connect with each other. And that's how we've grown up and what we've been doing. They also use separate website domains that are more specific to products they want to promote. So they have their Colgate Palm Oil, which is more of their corporate domain that is a combination of everything, and then they would have Colgate toothpaste, promoting all of their products of toothpaste and other products and services. Let's see. So another market research strategy that I was focusing on is how they're always making room for improvement in their company. So they're really focused on sustainability and doing what they can to improve their products. What I was wanting to look into more for them was making products that are reusable or recyclable, and just making maybe looking into having environmentally friendly packaging. Of course, going to an alternative route of packaging is going to be more expensive and potentially up the cost of your products if that's what the company would choose to do. But in a way, you have to spend money to make money. And then how you produce your products determines their affordability. So if you do want to steer towards a more natural side of packaging or product ingredients, those products are going to cost more to make, or cost more to produce your own product, which is why there are the more natural side of products do run a higher price these days than buying standard Colgate products. However, so I was looking into the rankings of toothpaste, and so Colgate Total Advanced Fresh Toothpaste ranks third in line for fresh breath. It's only $7.29 for a 2-pack, and it does rank first for being the best whitening toothpaste. this is incredible because there are so many different types of toothpaste out there and more coming out every single day that claim to have all these benefits for you and how it will change your life. But customers' word of mouth and their loyalty of their customers is their major strategy for their own influence of this and to continuously be in one of the top ranking spots. One of Colgate's main objectives is that they will always prove that they care and they will stick to their values to make sure that their customers are confident in buying their products. Recently there was an ad made by 13-year-olds that said Colgate's products had harmful ingredients in them. And immediately Colgate came out with their social media platforms on Twitter and stood by their products and reassured all of their customers that they would never use anything harmful in their products because they care about their customers and know that their products are helpful, not harmful.